Do you suck absolute ass cheeks at Decaying Winter? Are you a chud who believes the game is too hard? Well, I don't. So I'm gonna give you a proper introduction, since others don't seem to understand that you can't just throw wiki info at a novice and call it a day. Starting out as a novice means you have no rights whatsoever. No abilities, no passives, no nothing. So you're gonna have to make do with what you find in scavenging. There is a category of things you'll find on the map during scavenging, them being things like heals, weapons, explosives, traps, ammunition, stims, blueprints, and about a couple other things. Scrap everything. Trust me, you'll want to do this. The only things you shouldn't really be scrapping are always the valuable and somewhat rare items like heals and stims. Once you know what to look for, it's best to scavenge with the... Wait, where the fuck do you guys come from? Come on! As I was saying, scavenge is Oh, you have to be shitting me. Yeah, you might run into a little trouble while scavenging, so your best bet is probably just to avoid... Sight! Of course you're gonna see enemies while scavenging. That's part of the difficulty. If you want your supplies, you're gonna have to earn it by sliming out everyone in your way. Yes, you might get hurt in the process, but it's better than coming home empty-handed. You're also gonna want to make sure that you have a melee weapon on you at all times. Fists aren't good enough for what's to come. It wouldn't be far-fetched to say your life rests in the hands of your melee skills. One thing you must learn with melee is parrying. Learning to parry is such a life-changing skill. Good parrying means being able to eliminate essentially any melee scavenger in your way without being hit once. But the reason having a melee at all is incredibly important is because you can't naturally parry with your naked fists. If I had to explain the golden rule of parrying, it's doing it as soon as you're close to the enemy. That's it. Simple, right? Wrong! Kinda. You see, not every melee scav is the same. Some might do the same thing and parry once within range. Others might try to anticipate attack by sliding. Sometimes they'll just go for a heavy attack instead. The solution? Parry twice. It's not as hard as you think it might be. Once you learn the patterns of each scavs, it's so easy to fight them that it's barely an inconvenience. Although, gun scavs are a different story, so you might want to steer away from them if you don't have the means to properly handle them. In these clips, I'm using the Arbiter perk to have a much easier time clearing enemies, but for educational purposes, please try to ignore that. Alright, scavs are dead and you got your loot. What now? Once your inventory is full of things that shouldn't be scrapped, head back to base and drop them all out and go for another run, assuming the storm isn't coming soon. But make sure your stuff is somewhere actively accessible, otherwise you won't be able to get your grub during waves, and there goes your run. Oh, and one more thing. If you're playing with others, please don't die. I know that should go without saying, but whenever someone dies, every other living agent gets a morale debuff, which essentially makes them slightly worse at everything. And it stacks, up to 4. Morale can go away on its own, but the faster method is to survive an entire night with 0 deaths. And that means everyone, which automatically clears everybody of any morale. Past wave 5, you should have a number of things at base, a select few being heals, explosives, guns, and stims. Because from here on out, the waves will be getting much harder and the scavenging will be more selective. At this point, you should have more than enough scrap to craft a few important weapons. There are a lot of blueprints in the game, but only about half of them are really worth crafting. I'm not going to go into detail with all of them, so here are the notable ones. Got it? Yeah? Alright. All of these weapons cost 100 scrap to craft, and they each have their own unique uses. To keep this concise, and because you can get additional info elsewhere, I'll just tell you what makes them special. Shotgun hammer, small AoE with the heavy swing.
Area defended.
Every attack stuns the enemy, still can't stun those immune. Apocalypse stick, impressive bludgeon damage. Big heavy swing windup equals big heavy swing damage. Better AK. Better shotgun. No recoil, 95 damage to the head, and it can be refilled with quivers. trust me when I say you're going to need this stuff, because at some point, the game is going to test you with. From waves 6 to 9, there's a chance of a guaranteed event called Scavenger Warfare, or just Scav War for short. This special event happens once per game, lasting just one night, and it's a real test of strength. For starters, the scavenger spawn rate increases drastically during the scavenging phase, ensuring you will have problems while poking around for supplies. But another increased value is the chance for scavengers to become completely hostile to all, including their own fellow scavs. Usually, you do what you typically do on any night and go scavenging, just with more hiccups. But as a novice, this may not be a favorable option. If you believe you have everything you need for the night, feel free to stay inside during the scavenging phase to conserve resources and health. Once the storm arrives, the real danger arrives. Instead of your typical wave, you'll be met with horde after horde of enemies, all with the sole goal of killing you. This wave alone is why explosives and AoE items are vital to survival. One more thing, there's a chance, about 1 in 20, that instead of a plethora of scavengers, you'll be met with the let me solo her guy, which speaks for itself. But besides all that, everything essentially stays the same, just with more enemies of increased difficulty and harder waves at the end of each night. I'm going to spare you the details because this is supposed to be a basic guide. If you needed any extra info, it's best to find a video that focuses on what you're looking for. Night 10 is the final night of the game, and obviously the hardest. For the entire scavenging phase, you should focus on using up your remaining scrap and finding explosives, because your time window for healing will be insanely minuscule. There are several different and unique ways to deal with the final wave in Night 10. You could wing it, or you could use a strat, whether or not it's yours. But if I were to tell you anything, it's that you're going to need a lot of guns and a lot of jugs. The wave of enemies that come at the end of each night may be the main danger, but it's not the most dangerous part. In the Wasteland, you might run into these demons called Shadows or Shadow Demons. There are a total of 4 of them, and their dangers are very unique from each other. The Hanger is a legless hanging shadow whose sole purpose in life is to low tier guide you into killing yourself. The Hidden is very dangerous and very invisible. Its audio cues notify you of its presence, but not its location. Probably best to run the other direction till you can't hear it anymore, since their stab will very much kill. The Skinner wears the skin of a scavenger to blend in with the rest, but when provoked, they reveal themselves and start attacking nearby entities. In all honesty, you shouldn't let their aggressive nature alarm you. Just stay calm and parry. The Sickler. Do not touch it. You will die. If you've gone around the Wasteland enough, or looked at the map, you'll see that the castle is fortified and protected. This castle is occupied by the raiders, who unlike scavengers, are coordinated and trained. Luckily, they have standards, and will only attack you if you come too close, so it is in your best interest to just avoid it altogether. The further you progress in the game, the more scavengers start to evolve, and for both melee and gun scavs, there's a defining enemy that peaks the scavenger manpower. These 2 enemies are the Sledger and the AK Scav. The Sledger could genuinely rival the Skinner because of their large damage output and higher than average health pool, about 150. For the AK Scav, they could very easily end your run if you're oblivious to your surroundings. Usually, you wouldn't see people telling you what the controls are. Instead, they would tell you to press K, which would bring up a menu showing you all the controls. But not anymore! They removed it! Why would they remove it? The game is already hard enough for newbies, why would you take away the controls that makes it so— So let's go over some of the controls real quick. Q to shove. Stuns the enemy, but makes you unable to do anything for about a split second. G to unload weapons. Do this before scrapping any guns you find. C to use auxiliary equipment. As a novice, you start with a short use gas mask to survive the storm for a little bit if you lag behind. F to use your perks ability. You don't have one as survivalist, so put this aside for now. Z to ping. Pinging an item or an enemy will mark them accordingly. T to open the agent menu. You can keep track of scavenging time, ammunition, rations, and weapon stats here. 0 to kill yourself. And I don't mean reset. You deadass pull a shiv and slit your own throat like a goddamn man-ban. Rations are a unique mechanic. On the bottom left of your screen, you'll see an orange bar and a blue bar. Both correspond to nutrition and hydration accordingly, each contributing to a small set of stats. Nutrition directly correlates to melee damage. Being starved will make your melee attacks weaker, while being nourished will greatly increase your melee damage. Hydration directly correlates to defense. Being dehydrated will greatly lower your defense, while being quenched will greatly increase it. Keep in mind that being nourished and or quenched doesn't mean making sure you're not hungry or thirsty. It means making sure your corresponding bar is near if not full, meaning you'll actually have to dedicate to eating and drinking rations for those buffs, both of which are only obtained from killing enemies in the wasteland. Wave enemies don't drop jack shit. You've probably noticed the permanent effect at the bottom of your screen resembling a virus while playing. This virus is a permanent debuff that gets progressively worse the longer you live, with every stage making you weaker over time. The first stage doesn't do anything, but reaching stage 5 instantly kills you. You can reset the evolution process by taking tablets or antibiotics, which resets the infection at its current stage. It is important to note that once you move to another stage, you cannot go back. The only way to get back to stage 1 is to die and come back, which gives everyone morale, or just straight up isn't an option if you're soloing. Before I end the video, I want to clear up any misinformation older guides may have since the Lost Concepts update changed a lot of things. The Lost Concepts update is a major update that changed a lot of things, and for this reason, it may cause several discrepancies in older guides. This isn't worth a whole explanation, so here's a list with the crucial parts. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this simple guide helps you actually engage with the game and give it a real chance. I've loved and appreciated this game for years, and the Lost Concepts update has only made it better. If you happen to actually start enjoying the game and want to learn more, I strongly suggest referring to the wiki for stats and facts, or watching other guides to get your fill on strategies and techs to further evolve your ability to survive. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great time in the Wasteland. Agent out.